Ratings are the bottom line. With this new show, Stephen A's World, subscribers are the bottom line. But the first order of business is for somebody to look at your work and say, that's a damn good job.
Right.
Whether folks are watching or not. My thing is about the quality of my work.
It's Hip Hop Nation. You are on the Wake Up with your boy Torae. Boy, oh boy, am I excited today, man. One of my favorite personalities, one of my favorite people to listen to talk about sports, the energy, the tenacity, the knowledge, the vocabulary. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm about to get into. I got Stephen A. Smith joining me on the tour today. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Stephen A., man. Good to see you. Thank you for taking time out, man. You have the most jobs. You know what I mean? You are on the most times of day. I see your face more than my own family so much, man. So I appreciate you for taking time to rock with us here on Hip Hop Nation. And it is so good to have sports back with some type of regularity, man. I know it was probably a difficult time for guys like yourself when we were in the midst of the pandemic and games were getting canceled and the season was on hold. And how did you get through all of that, you know, professionally and personally?
Well, it was a great challenge. No question about that. We had to take pay cuts and all of that stuff. That's one thing. But especially when you consider the fact that people were losing their jobs by the millions, you understand that. And if you're blessed and fortunate enough to have something, it's always good to give a little. And we certainly had to do that. And I had no problem with it whatsoever. I think that, for me personally, where it really hit home was March 11th. Obviously, that's when the NBA halted its season. Because now you're sitting there, what to talk about. And, we didn't have a day off. First take, for example, we were on every day. And so, you speculating about what's going to happen. What do you do moving forward? All of that other stuff. And, you got to make lemon out of lemonade, as they say, figure out, what is in the mind's eye of folks out there as they're thinking about this pandemic, this COVID-19, where do we go from here, et cetera, et cetera. That posed its own challenge. But I got to give major props to two entities. And one individual, and specifically Dana White, UFC, president of UFC, because this brother wasn't bound down to nobody. He kept trying to push events, kept trying to push events. Like, you can't just stand still, freeze, do nothing. Hell with that. And he kept pushing, got stopped on a couple of occasions by the networks and state governments and what have you. But ultimately, he was the first back in business. And then also, I got to give major props to the National Football League from the standpoint that it really helped that they never canceled the NFL draft, even though they switched it and it was virtual instead of in person and all of that stuff. They didn't cancel the draft. They didn't cancel free agency. And so because football is king right now and it's 24/7, the fact that free agency was still moving forward, that the draft was still moving forward, it gave you an opportunity to talk about all 32 teams in the NFL and what they needed to do, what they was going to do, et cetera, et cetera. And that kept sports alive, the combination of the two things. Unfortunately, so did the social justice issues, because that's certainly when that propped up, you certainly don't want George Floyd killed. You don't want, others getting shot, police officers shooting unarmed black men and all of that stuff. You don't want that happening. But nevertheless, it definitely gave more material for us to really talk about and move the conversations forward. So that ultimately was something that we were able to utilize and make sure we talk to our audience about.
Absolutely. And it was good, I guess, to see your perspective on different things, because obviously when there's so much sports, you have more than enough to talk about. But when things slow down and we get a chance to see more of your personality, more of your thoughts, and I guess that kind of segues right into Stephen A's World, man, this new show you got on ESPN Plus. Talk to me about how it differs from what we normally see and hear from Stephen A. Smith. How is it different from First Take or the Stephen A. Smith Show?
I think that you're going to see me infuse more pop culture in terms of my guests and the things I'm talking about. And I'm just in a different mood when I'm doing my own show. When you're doing a debate show, you're combative. You're ready to bring rain and go at it. You don't give a damn about what anybody thinks, feels, or whatever. You're going to say what you feel, and that it is what it is. On Stephen A's World on ESPN Plus, it's my show. I'm hosting it. I'm the executive producer of it. My production company is co-producing it. So it's really on me. It's a new challenge. And what I wanted to do was, I have aspirations to do late night one day.
Right.
The Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon's, Stephen Gobert's, Leno, Letterman, Arsenio Hall. And I want to be Absolutely. I want to be in that lane someday. Trevor Noah, let's give him his props because he's a fantastic talent as well. All I'm saying is that for me, it's just really about bringing folks from the pop culture world, from the world of entertainment, seeing what they know about sports, because working for ESPN, you still got to talk sports for the most part, but then also to celebrate their work, to celebrate what they bring into the table. Like today, yeah, I've got on Conor McGregor, but in the same breath, I got on Chris Rock. So, last week I had on Snoop and Steve Harvey and Jamie Foxx and two biggest soap opera stars in the world. And the guy that played Victor Newman on Young and the Restless, Eric Braeden, and the guy that played Sonny Corinthos in General Hospital, Maurice Bernard. I'm friends with both of them. And, of course, I had on Barkley. So you just look at those things. You just try to celebrate what they're doing and all of that stuff, because being in my position and it's a debate show, I wake up every day knowing I'm going to piss somebody off.
Every day, Stephen.
Because I got to take a side.
Right.
It's not even what I say. It's the fact that I have to take a side and articulate why. So somebody's going to be happy and somebody's not. That's every single day. So what I wanted this show to be about was to let folks know the lighter side of me, the side that wants to celebrate you and what you bring to the table and how you're making a contribution to your industry, to your profession, to our society. I want folks to know that's what I really, really want to do. Because I've been reporting for years. I already know that other side of me. This is the side that I don't think people see enough of.
Absolutely. We're going to get into that longevity and that start. Right now, we're going to jump into some music. You talked about blending the worlds, man, and somebody who we have in the hip hop space that is clearly a big fan of sports and actually a pretty solid hooper. I'm talking about Quavo of the Migos. Let's get in the Migos right now. It's Hip Hop Nation. Your boy Torae is here and Stephen A. Smith. You want to wake up rotting with your tour guide? I'm excited today, man. I got one of my favorite people to listen to as I'm riding around is now riding around with me, man. Stephen A. Smith is here, my brother. Thank you again for your time and joining us today. Sure. Just to piggyback right off the word time, you've put in so much time. Can you give just like a brief talk about your start, how you got into the game? And I definitely want to talk about your thoughts on so many people being able to open up their phone, their laptop, and give their take on sports. But I definitely want to hear about your start and how you got into the game for people who are aspiring.
In college, as a student at Winston-Salem State, I was on a basketball scholarship. And my first year there, I cracked my kneecap in half. And so when that happened, I had to have reconstructive surgery. I was out for a full year. And my mom was asking me, what you going to do with the rest of your life? Because you clearly ain't, whatever aspirations you had about making money off of playing basketball, that's out the window.
Right.
And so not that I was good enough to do it anyway, but I didn't know that. And so as a result of that, I just said, hey, I'm going to be in the media, on television or newspaper, whatever. And then I had a critical and persuasive writing teacher. His name was John Gates. He was the editorial page editor of the local Winston-Salem Journal newspaper, and he was our professor at that class. And he said, he read an essay I wrote. He said, you're a natural born sports writer. Wow. Come with me. Let's go out to lunch and talk about this next Tuesday. Well, next Tuesday, I'm thinking we're going out to eat. And lo and behold, he took me straight to the sports editor for the local daily paper.
Amazing.
And the man talked to me his name was Terry Oberle. The man talked to me for 5 minutes and he said, so can you start tonight? Hired me on the spot as a clerk. And, within a week gave me the internship, the Wake Forest soccer beat. And then after that, I rolled that to an internship with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which ultimately got me a job at the New York Daily News as a high school reporter. And then, from there, I went to the Philadelphia Inquirer. While I was at the Philadelphia Inquirer, there was an NBA lockout in the 1998-1999 season. I was breaking all of these stories. And as a result of breaking those stories, the television networks came calling. I auditioned for CNN Sports Illustrated at the time. They hired me immediately following my audition. I did that for 2 years, went to Fox Sports for another 2 years. And then ESPN hired me in 2003, 2005, 2 years later. They gave me my own show, quite frankly. Rest is history.
Your grind, man, and your story is so inspiring to people who want to be in this, because I see so many people that just jump into things now and don't put in the work and look for the accolades and look for the big payday and, look to be an overnight sensation. If you really understand and respect the time that you put in those hours, you was in that gym getting your 10,000 hours in.
Yeah, they don't realize that. And that's unfortunate, because when it comes to us, we got to always remember to work. They ain't gonna never give us anything, man. We ain't getting anything for free. We're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to put on that grind. And so, for me, it's about letting folks know, like, I remember one time Denzel called into my radio show as a favor to me. Denzel Washington, the greatest actor ever, as far as
Denzel is on the one name basis. We ain't got, you know what I mean? Denzel.
Right. And he called in, and I asked him what was his favorite movie, what's the best movie he ever did. And his exact answer to me was the next one. He said, I put in the work. The culmination of it all is for the audience. And I couldn't have said it better myself, because not realizing it at the time, that's always been my mentality. And I think that if there's one ingredient to my success, is that I've always been about the work. For me, you talk about ratings. I've been very, very blessed. First Take has been #1 in the mornings for the last 7.5 years. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have that, as a part of my resume. And I know that. But for me, the ratings are the bottom line. With this new show, Stephen A's World, subscribers are the bottom line. But the first order of business is for somebody to look at your work and say, that's a damn good job. Right. Whether folks are watching or not. My thing is about the quality of my work. Guess what? If I think my work sucks, I don't want you to watch. I don't want you to see it, because I think it sucks. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, nah, I don't want the audience to see this. So I'm on my game to make sure that I'm constantly and consistently associated with quality. That's the deal. And then how much quality, you let the experts, the pundits, whoever, they're going to say what they're going to say, and that is what it is. But I know good work when I see it. I know good work when I'm doing it. And if something is suspect, I don't want no part of it. To me, there's no such thing in this profession, a punch in the clock. All right, it's 5 o'clock. It's time to go home. No, we going home when the job is finished. Right. We're going home when we look at the job and we say, okay, this is good. We good to go. Let's move forward. And then even then, I might watch it. It comes on 5:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday with Stephen A's World. It comes on 5:30. I might watch it at 6 until 6. And then after that, I'm done, because I got another show to do tomorrow. And that's the only reason I watched it was to see what mistakes I made, what I could do better, what I needed to perfect, what I need to do more of, what I need to do less of, et cetera, et cetera. It's about the grind. And ESPN, the ratings have something to do with why they pay me what they paid me, but the number one reason that they paid me the money that they paid me, and I tell people this all the time, is because I proved I was trustworthy. Sure. I'm going to show up. For sure. I'm going to show up to work night in, night out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. It's got to be something really, really wrong if Stephen A don't show up to work.
No, Stephen A. Stephen A is going to be there. For sure, for sure. Like I said, I see you. Sometimes I see you more than my own family. Hip Hop Nation, Stephen A. Smith is here, man. One of my favorite people to listen to. It's an amazing time just to be able to chop it up with him. We're going to jump back into music. We're going to talk some more sports. I got some more questions. I got some tough questions for Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, right? So make sure you keep it right here. It's the tour guy. You're riding with your boy Torae, man. It's my pleasure to have Stephen A. Smith on the show with us today. Stephen A., you talked about your time playing ball. Do you think it's necessary for a person to have played sports in any capacity, with some type of organized sports, before they can really give a good take on it or really be a good pundit?
No, I don't think so, in terms of your opinion about the sport itself. But what we have to understand, like, for example, I don't think, I'm not classified as an expert or an insider because I can talk basketball better than you or somebody else. Hell, we all are watching the game. Mm-hmm. We see what we see. We know a scrub when we see one. We know a superstar when we see one. That's not it. The question is, can you pick up the phone and call, tens, if not over 100 people at the drop of a hat and find out information that needs to be found out? Can you do that? Because if the answer is no, you're not connected to the sport. The point is, I can do that. It doesn't matter what sport it is. I can pick up the phone and make a phone call. And inside of an hour or two, I can find out what the hell is going on because I've been connected to it. And so for me, it's important because you do have a lot of pundits out there that never had anything to do with a sport, was never a reporter or whatever, and think they could do, my job. Right. And that's why you see them get smoked sometimes when they come on the air against me, because they went up against me and they found out there's levels to this. So, it's like you talking about a particular player. Well, Yeah, I didn't say it on the air, but I spoke to that player, or I spoke to his best friend, or I spoke to the agent, or I spoke to the coach, or I spoke to the general manager, or I spoke to the owner, because I've been that connected to the sport throughout all of these years. So there's always, that's not to say every nugget of information is 100% correct, because that would be false and phony. And I'm never going to say that. But what I'm going to say to you is that the information that I've acquired over the years, that the average brother can't get that. The average journalist can't get that. The average insider can't get that. So this is what I've established for myself. So when something like that happens and somebody's looking at me, oh, I could do what you do, I always say to them, you're probably right. Good luck with that. Why don't you call me in 20 years after you put in the 20 years I put in before I got to this? Because I had to put in 20 years. I used to watch Howard Cosell, be like, I could do that. I used to watch Bob Costas. You say I could do that. But guess what? They were there and I wasn't. And I had to work my way through that terrain and climb up that ladder before I got to this point. So somebody coming to me wanting to do what I do just like that, I'm ready to tell them to go to hell. I'm just looking for a nicer way to say it.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, after all of this pounding in the pavement I did, you think you just get to walk in and do that? Hell no, sit your ass down and wait.
And wait.
I had to.
Put that work in.
There you go. Put that work in.
Stephen A., who has better sources, you or Woj?
Well, right now would be I would say Woj. I would never disrespect my colleagues like that. Don't get me wrong. My sources don't go anywhere and I got a load of them, but I'm not the insider that I once was because I don't have to be.
Right.
You know, when I was pounding that pavement doing what he did, I was there. You see what I'm saying? But I don't have to do what Woj does. Now that's what Woj's job is. My job is to be in studio hosting these shows, whether it's in New York or LA. And so whether it's true or not, I would always defer to those reporters that are on the scene. Like if you hear me talk about a particular team, I would tell you, let's say, for example, I'm talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. I'd reference somebody from the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Philadelphia Daily News, because I was in their seat. I was in their position. And I know that no matter what I think I know, it's nothing compared to what the people who are there every day know. And so you never disrespect the profession by acting like you know more. Now, you might be privy to certain information they ain't privy to. You might have certain sources, better relationship. I could pick up the phone and call one of the players or the coach or the president of the team or the damn owner of the team. But just because I could do that with a particular story doesn't mean that I know as much as you do covering the team every day, because you're paying attention to stuff that I don't even care about. So as a result, I'm always deferential to the insiders that are pounding the pavement and doing that every day, whether it's Woj on a national level or the beat writers on a local level, because I played both positions. And as a result, I know what it entails. And I would never disrespect them by claiming that I know more than them when I don't pay attention to half the stuff they pay attention to, because I don't have to. Because I graduated from that and I'm doing something different.
For sure. Like you said, it's levels. So we're going to get into that Meek Mill later on. Before I let you go, Stephen A., I want to ask you this, man. Do you think that the NBA should go back to a bubble, you know, with games being postponed? Playoffs?
Not before, not during the regular season. There's no way in hell. CP3 and I were just talking about last week sometime. There's no way in hell that players are going to agree to a bubble in the regular season. You got 30 teams and they ain't a bubble. They ain't having that. They ain't having it. They'll want the season canceled. They were damn near ready to lose their mind now, and there is no bubble. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, just imagine if you tried to put them in a bubble now. They ain't going for that. They can't accept that, and that's not going to work. But I will say, come playoff time, it is absolutely positively necessary that you're in a bubble, because if you don't do that, then the integrity of the postseason will be compromised. You can't have cats missing playoff games because games got to be canceled or postponed, et cetera, because of positive COVID test and all. You can't afford something like that to happen. So I would tell you that the same thing they did in Orlando this past summer into October is exactly what they should do for the postseason this go round.
For sure. What do my Knicks have to do, Stephen? I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I'm a Brooklynite, but I didn't switch over to the Nets. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. What do they have to do to get back into being in contention, just being a playoff team consistently, and, you know, with aspirations?
They have to do what we all have to do, pray. We need to pray, man.
Bye. I don't want to.
It's 1973, bro. I mean, we ain't won the damn thing since 1973. It pisses me off. But I would tell you this. The New York Knicks are heading in the forward direction. Tom Thibodeau is no joke. He going to have you playing hard. He going to have you playing defense. Worldwide West, William Wesley, that's my brother. I got faith in him, and I know he knows talent. Leon Rose knows basketball, was a really big time agent. He's got some connections. Unfortunately, my only problem is I think that made him draft Obi Toppin instead of my selection, which I thought should have been Tyrese Halliburton. Out of Iowa State, who's at Sacramento right now doing this thing. I'm not knocking Obi Toppin. I just think playing the position that he plays, you got enough forwards with the New York Knicks. You really didn't need him. You needed a guard. Having said all of that, I think Leon and Worldwide West know what they're doing. I know Scott Perry, the GM, knows what he's doing. He's been a fixture in the NBA for many years, and Tom Thibodeau damn sure knows what he's doing. So Knicks are 7-8 right now. They're just a game under 500. Then, they're not Brooklyn. We know who the Brooklyn Nets are. I think they coming out of the East. They better come out of the East.
They better come out of the East.
If they don't come out of the East, it's a catastrophe. But I do think they will come out of the East and meet the Lakers in the NBA Finals. And we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, that's my bracket. I don't know how they're going to get there, but that's who I got in them finals. Before I let you go, let me ask you, I want to say a name, and I just want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I say this name. Sure. LeBron James.
Second greatest player of all time.
Second to?
Please.
MJ, of course. Tom Brady.
Champion, 6-time champion, 9 Super Bowl appearances. Greatest resume in the history of football.
Stuart Scott.
Legend. Legend, a friend. One of the greatest talents this industry has ever seen. You know what people don't realize? He was damn near legally blind.
Right.
Like he really had problems with his eyes, man. I saw this brother memorize an entire script for SportsCenter.
Wow.
Sitting on mid-court on a floor in Detroit. He did the entire telecast by memory.
People don't understand that. He's not reading the teleprompter. You know what I mean? This is that's
incredible. They don't even know. They don't understand how great and phenomenal Stuart Scott was as a time, how innovative he was, how courageous he was to bring that kind of swag to television at a time when they wouldn't allow it. We got pioneers and all of this other stuff. One of the greatest insults anybody could ever give me in this industry is to compare me to somebody like him, because he's somebody that I look up to him, the Michael Wilbons of the world, people like that, man. I got so much love and so much respect for them. I don't even want to be mentioned in the same breath as them because they're that special.
I feel you, man.
For them, there wouldn't be me.
No doubt, no doubt. And you paving the way for a lot of other people, man. So I would be remiss if I didn't say to Stephen A, you are an icon and you are somebody that the younger cats are looking to and aspiring to be like, man. So we thank you, man. We thank you for your presence. You know, representation matters. Seeing and hearing you every day is definitely eye-opening for somebody else out there that's going to follow in your footsteps, my brother. We're going to get into this Meek Mill. Listen, Stephen A said it's levels to this. We're going to take it out to Philly and ride with this Meek Mill. Make sure you check out Stephen A's World on ESPN Plus. Stephen A, anytime you got any hot takes, anything you want to say, any news you want to break after you do it on your show, come over here and rock with us on Hip Hop Nation.
Call anytime, man. You call, I'll be there.
My brother, thank you so much.